Yeah, yeah. Look, we're still mammals. Mammals still have a certain. This isn't when we look at these mechanistic studies. We're not looking at. We're looking basically if you give something and tissue is repaired. This is not a dietary thing. We're not comparing diets between rats and humans. We're actually looking at a mechanism, whether a mechanism works in correcting some physiological problem. Our collagen, we all evolved as mammals from very small, like rodent type things. So the genes that encode for collagen, the genes that encode for a lot of these sort of things are very similar. They're not completely different. And so, usually if you apply this to one animal, you apply it to other, and they've actually done experiments with taurine in multiple different animals and seen similar effects. So we know that certain nutrients are part of and parcel of all mammals, and in some cases all eukaryotes. That means from the last couple of billion years, 2 billion years. So the same evolutionary genetics have been passed on for over 2 billion years to all species, eukaryotic species on the planet. So in that regard, those mechanisms will work in all animals the same because they've been encoded. There was no need to change. If it works, it works. You just pass it on to the next generation, to the next species, But certain things, when it comes to nutrition and all that, that's adaptation to specific environments and stuff like that, and enzymes that one can transcript or can't because they've adapted to certain foods in one way or another. That's a different thing altogether. And sometimes there are a bit, some animals do have the other capability where they can still tolerate certain other foods because they've still got some genetics that they inherited from much earlier, and there was no need to ever get rid of them. They're sort of a bit like whales that have got certain types of legs and stuff like that. They don't use them; they're tucked inside their flesh, but it's sort of a vestigial organ, like our appendix, things like that. So, but yeah, there is utility in some regards and not utility, particularly when we're looking at nutrition. Ignore the rat studies. Completely and utterly inappropriate. When we're looking at mechanisms of specific, there may be some valid utility. That doesn't mean that if you give this nutrient, we're going to get the exact same response, but we will get similar. And when you're trying to find a solution to biohack and repair things, you might as well try. You got nothing to lose, since it may not be as effective, but even small improvements are better than nothing, in my book anyway.